again. Is it working? I think it's working. I can't tell. I seriously cannot tell. Oh, I think it's working.
Why did you link your Twitter?
What?
Well, I asked you to link your Twitch, and you linked your Twitter.
No, I didn't. I linked my Twitch.
You linked your Twitter.
Oh, I typed Twitter instead of Twitch. Well, it's the same link, just Twitter, not Twitch. Hang on. https://www.twitch. Did it lead to my actual Twitter, though?
No.
Did it lead to someone else's Twitter?
No, it led to a non-existent Twitter. By the way, you are streaming right now.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the follow.
I can't believe I wasn't already following you.
There. Right link! Cool! Got this. It says 0 viewers right now, but that's just probably Restream being weird. Thank you, AWKOAK. Wait, can you speak real quick?
Oh, well.
Cool, I just wanted to test the levels.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the word awkward. Well, and then oak for my Oakley. Oh. Oh, look, we found the computer. Oh, it still has the old thing from when I was streaming Sonic. Whoops.
Sonic.
Awkward. That sounds awkward coming out of my mouth, but alright. Should we do this again?
Yeah, Merc said this again.
Okay. Same.
Hey, do a thing. Do /mod and give me mod on your Twitch stream.
Hold on. Let me see if I can even /mod charmed Scully.
Charmed Scully.
Hopefully this lets me do commands from this and doesn't just send the message.
Hey, I am now moderator.
Hey! I learned a new trick!
You should do the same thing to Merc.
Oh. I didn't know I could send commands from this. This is great.
Yay.
Bam. Alright. And you know what? I'm actually not having that many lag issues either. Oh, never mind. Yeah. I say that and then I get a bunch of lag issues.
Yes.
Oh, wow. CPU 100%. Disk 100%. Oh, my computer's doing this. Oh, it disconnected me.
Funny. We should... Oh, yeah, we should...
Alright, we're restarting, apparently.
Play the Bracketeer. Oh, can we play Bracketeer or can we play Bracketeer or Fibbage?
What's Bracketeer?
Wait, Bracketeer or Fibbage first?
One more of this. Merc says one more of this.
Okay.
Damn, I sleep. Okay. Awkward got in first.
Uh-oh. Oh, it didn't put me back in? Oh, hold on.
So, funny story, that Prophet dude promotes my server on his, promotes my streams on his Discord.
Wow.
Yeah, so every single time I stream, I get pinged up from his server that I'm streaming. It's
That's kind of cool.
I never asked him to do that. He's like, you've now joined my stream community, so now I'm gonna just promote you. And I was like, oh, okay. They're really wholesome guys. Popped into my streams like a couple times now.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
The War Thunder guy.
PDR America, whatever.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
He was supposed to stream today, but he had to not because of his wife, I believe.
That's
Which is fair.
weird.
Let you know when everyone's in. Is everyone in? Is there anyone else going to join?
You should probably, I would ask that in Discord.
Well, none.
I do not believe
Why
Beta is
did DJ just get banned from the Discord server? I mean, get
Which one?
banned, not the Discord server, but the stream.
Wait, what?
Okay, Merc is fucking with you.
Oh, I don't even know. Okay, Beta did join, but his mic's acting up. I think we're ready. The Neon is awesome. Oh, Discord has Discord act up right there.
I have returned. Is everyone in?
We could get one more person if we wanted.
Okay. I'll wait a sec.
Anyone from the stream can join.
By the way, if you guys want to see chat, I can send that in the voice call text.
Nah.
Hello? Yeah. Just
Yeah,
go.
Yep, I think we're ready. Before everything falls apart.
Why was closed captioning on for your stream for some reason?
I don't know. That's not something I have on by default.
I'm Cookie, and this is Enough About You, the game that shows just how little your
I'm
so-called
glad the
friends
extended
know
time
about
is
you.
on.
Okay, I
Because
think
your
we've got
stream is
enough of you
lagging
to put on a
and so
production
it's-
of Noises Off. I want all of you off book by the time the game's over. Oh, and anyone else can get in and join the audience. The audience
Yo.
votes on fake answers to fool
I
those
refuse to
gullible
change my
players,
name from
and they
Zoom.
also get to guess the truth. Let's hit it. All right, listen up. I'm going to beam a question about you to your device. Answer with the truth. Then you'll get your chance to
Yeah,
make
let's
up
do the last
lies
guy.
about the other players. You get 500 points for fooling people with your made-up answers, 1,000 for finding the truth, and if the question's about you, you get a reputation bonus for every player who gets the answer right. Got all that? Good.
So, somebody said something I was thinking, that I was texting, I was like, stop reading my mind. And he's like, you know what? He's like, you know what happens when great minds think alike? I was like, you know what? He's like, they must mind meld.
I've got a really, really bad question. Like, this is the worst question I could have received.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer this question.
Alright, oh, I did mine. I got a really easy one again.
Okay. There we go.
Come on, time's running out.
I wonder who has an answer.
Okay, here's your first question.
The
The
I
highlight
don't know.
of this player's last vacation was blank. Alright, type in your lies.
There we go. Boop. I don't know you, person. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I put a really dumb answer.
Okay, choices, find the truth, and
All my answers are dumb.
device.
Yes, they are. Oh no, it's a complete guess.
So, are you guys watching my stream right now?
Yeah.
Weird. It says nobody's watching it right now.
It says there's 5 people watching it.
I think servers aren't having a fun time today.
Yeah.
Discord's acted up. Someone I know. We had to use Google. Can't even hear beta.
Oh, they took the bait on that one. You guys blew it.
Okay.
Damn.
Come on. Free boot. Wait, free booze is the correct one? Wow.
Huh. Mine was
Yeah.
Donkey Show.
Okay, here's the
Oh.
question. The celebrity's garage sale. This player would most likely
I was like,
Yeah,
Donkey
no.
Show, that's funny.
blank.
Yeah, me on your stream. No. Oh, of course I have to get the second one. I actually don't know who will be able to guess this one, because I don't know if I've brought up the actor before. Or maybe I don't like any actors.
Ooh, it says celebrity, not actor.
Oh, so it's the same thing.
All right.
Well, no, there are celebrities who aren't actors.
Not to the film industry. Just remember.
Why
you're
is
friend.
my name on there?
You're not a celebrity.
I'm definitely not a celebrity.
Okay, one of these is very clearly a personal attack.
I'm pretty sure at least 2 of them are personal attacks because if my name's on there, that's a personal thing. I'm gonna say...
That doesn't sound like a personal attack. That sounds like a compliment. Because you're a celebrity.
I'm not a celebrity.
You are now.
Not yet. Not yet.
You are now.
I wonder who actually put that one in. I guess we'll find out at the end.
Everybody selected.
I'll say as much. Wasn't me.
I definitely know it wasn't you.
I don't even. I feel like I should know who that is, but I don't.
I was just guessing. It was probably... Oh. Oh. Aw.
My mic doesn't lie. Oh, so many people got it. Yeah, I would go to Nicolas Cage.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I should have known that, actually.
Wait, who put share?
Hey, Beats Turtle, welcome back.
Whoever put a share should be slapped.
The most expensive thing this
I don't like share. I don't even know who that
borrowed
is.
from work was blank.
This is a really, really bad question.
Was. Oh. My phone closed. There you go. I put my answer in.
Beats,
Yeah,
were you
yeah.
Dio?
Oh, yeah. I think they were. They would be on this whole time. Because it was them. Deal.
Dio.
Deal.
Finish quick before you ruin it for everyone.
Don't rush me!
Okay, find the truth.
Oh dear.
All of these. I'm going with this because I don't know what that is, and I feel like you would steal it. Yes, thief.
Okay, let's take a look.
By the way, I've stolen nothing but pencils.
I've never stolen anything, except for hearts. Bam.
Thumb drives sound like
Hey.
something I would steal if I would
Was-
steal, but I don't steal.
Really? I don't even know what that is.
Really? You don't know what a thumb drive is? You don't know what a USB stick is? You
Oh.
But yeah, I don't
promise.
work. That's why the question was stupid. I don't have a job. Closest thing, I
was
worked
a-
at a fast food place. What am I gonna steal from there? Ice cream?
Yes.
a burger.
I paid for the burgers out of my own paycheck.
Bodies with for a day. All right, type in your lies.
It sucked. Burgers are so expensive there.
Where did you work? Was it a
Happy
local
Days.
joint or- Oh, okay.
It was a.
I still nothing but pencils from everywhere I've been. School.
I don't
two
steal
choices
pencils
for-
because people are too busy stealing my pencils.
Truth.
That's right.
That's what
I'm
you
the kid
steal
who would always lose them all because thinking.
I would return them, but I always stole them from my school. Oh, this answer is a
Scully
little...
Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Actually, where did the electric boogaloo start from? I don't remember.
Yeah, my pencils were pretty great. They're the best around the school. That's why everyone kept stealing them.
Were they mechanical?
Yes.
And it was also
You're a good person.
Ryan Reynolds. He would not switch bodies with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah, because... Ryan Reynolds is decent. Ariana Grande. The fact... I feel like it's probably gonna be like a football. Wasn't that guy stabbed to death? Really? I thought
What?
I thought it was I thought it would have been Obama, considering the profile picture. I mean,
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Huh.
it's weird because I believe he was trending today on Twitter.
Huh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I'm really bad at checking trending.
is blank.
I check it when I go up and my timeline doesn't refresh. Oh no, I just thought of a terrible thing.
Oh,
to say.
that's
Remember that
big.
one guy? Remember
What?
that one guy who
Which one?
says I haven't relaxed yet.
Oh no! That guy. That guy I went to high school with. Oh no.
Oh no.
The guy who I apparently sent anime porn to when I was in high school.
Was it even
From
good?
school streams. I think it was a lot of blue girls, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, I actually. Do you think I could do ASMR? Does anyone here think I could do that?
Actually, yeah. I think so.
Maybe.
Well,
Your
'cause
voice is monotone enough.
I've been putting someone to sleep. They didn't need it tonight because they're pretty relaxed today, but last 2 nights I've been managing. Oh, I thought that would have relaxed them.
At least the audience fell for it.
Yeah. Huzzah. I just showed you.
2 hour masturbation section.
I mean, yeah, that would relax you because you're gonna pass out after. Unless you're putting like no effort in.
But hey, if you pass that afterwards, that's how you know you did a good job.
Huh.
That one.
That is true. Wait, what? Beta Cat needs to explain that when his mic is working.
Privacy squad.
Can someone clip that? Because we need Beta to explain this.
I can't clip it. You guys are on my streams.
I can't clip. I'm watching it from my Xbox.
I'll clip. I'll go back and clip.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no! I can't think of any. What's her name? Oh,
I actually have to Google this one.
I hope you know I had to Google the one I picked too.
I don't know. I don't remember her name. She's really annoying.
Is she from the fucking what series? I love how nobody's putting it. Like from
she's the not her. She's the really fat lady that makes all those terrible jokes.
Yeah, I figured.
She's in Jojo Rabbit, which is unfortunate.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's not out yet. There's Emma Stone and Emma Watson. I'm gonna have to go. I think it's this person. I think that's her name. I legit don't remember the person's name. They're really. What is it? Pitch Perfect. She's in Pitch Perfect.
I'm gonna like this one just because it was so fucked that somebody put that.
Someone should have put Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage can portray any character, changed by mind. Oh.
See, I don't think anybody's gonna vote for the one that I put.
I don't even know who that is. Lady?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey!
Really?
Would you look at that?
I don't know, I was
Send
thinking
a
of a
picture.
fat old lady.
Send a picture of them in Discord. I want to see that.
Okay. I don't think she looks anything like me, but I don't think any of them do, to be perfectly honest. She's just a
No.
fat old crazy lady. I'll go to VC. There you go.
Pitch Perfect cast. I want to go find this actor's name. Yeah, Rebel Wilson. Yeah, her. That really
For fuck's
annoying
sake, I
kid.
can see you. I can hear you.
Hmm? No.
I'm serious about that timer. Finish quick. Don't rush me.
I feel like an actor who could portray me. Oh no.
Ooh. Oh, it didn't let me. It's not letting me vote.
Really? Weird.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Delay.
Wait, where did you put the picture of them?
NBC text.
I have that channel muted.
Oh, well, that's one way just typing in.
Oh my. I think Rebel Wilson would be more likely to portray you.
Ooh. God, I hope not.
I mean, am I wrong?
You are wrong.
I am not wrong.
Eh.
Also, I like this
I'm not-
version. Sorry.
I'm like not.
You're.
Yeah, the stream is
Oh,
interesting.
I thought about clicking that one.
Oh. Yeah, this is really hard about everyone. Can't believe everyone managed to guess me. I said Rickroll, because, I mean, I'm never gonna let you up. Never gonna let you down. Run around.
Right, one truth and one lie.
Ah.
Damn it, what's a good lie about myself?
Wow, brain.
It's really hard to
By the
think
way.
of, well, let's think of the lie first before I think of the truth. So, are they... Oh, wait.
Your time's half gone. If you're still working on that truth, you might want to move on to your lie.
Well, mine's pretty terrible.
Some people might be mad at me for this one, but I'm technically not incorrect.
Oh no, I could have done so worse that attacked someone here. Oh, I should have done that one.
Ah, what? Really? uh,
I like the blue pill.
go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Neon. How is it being an e-girl?
Yeah.
Christ's sakes.
Oh, sorry. I feel
can
like
tell-
you could have done. I don't know. Sorry.
I know for me, I've eaten eel before. It is delicious.
I've eaten both.
You can eat sea urchins.
Properly prepared, yeah.
I mean, humans are properly prepared.
Really, either of them could be true.
Wait, sea.
Cards
Call-
Against Humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have connections
Ooh.
everywhere, feels like.
Ooh, Scully. We could do that for a stream.
What? Cards Against Humanity? Yeah.
Or super fight.
Whoa, why did it break on me?
What?
This stream.
Oh, by the way.
I'm still streaming to live on Discord.
Yeah. By the way, yes, I have met, clearly I have met the creators of Cards Against Humanity. I actually have the bigger blacker box sign saying, Sean and I, go fuck yourself.
Oh, yeah, it's actually 6.
Why are... Fuck it.
Oh, we could do super fight if we wanted, but I don't know if we can do that from mobile.
You're so... Wow, this dude just, like, messaged me saying, wow, you're so fucking beautiful and sexy. I think he's blind.
Wow. That
Or maybe he's not, but...
Or he's desperate.
Honestly, both of these could be true about you. Oh wait, broken. Oh, okay, I know which one it is. I know you too well, Neon.
What do you think?
I think it's that one. Oh no, I picked one. No.
I love how there was just, like, no discussion on mine when it was revealed.
Yeah, no. I mean,
No one gives a
you're-
damn
you're
about me. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, well, the other option you didn't have. You don't have one, so I mean.
Yeah. I don't have a sex life, so it can't be a dumpster fire.
Exactly.
Technicalities.
Oh, well,
That's why I said people would probably hate mine.
Yeah. Well, that was a good game.
Indeed. Should we do bracketeering now?
What is that?
Huh?
What is racketeering?
It's that one where you have the different...
Yeah, it's the one where you're just making brackets of silly things.
Ah.
Merc says
I
good
might-
night. Good
Good night, Merc.
Actually,
Hail, Merc!
I think I'm praise Mark.
I think I'd
What,
rather just
whatever.
talk for a little bit too, guys. I
Yeah.
think I'm kind of done with the gaming.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was really excited for it, but okay. I'll shut
sorry,
it down.
I'm sorry.
No, that's cool, it's cool.
Yeah, we can always do it next time. We did a lot of fibbage.
I mean, I am planning, like, weeks from now, I'm gonna do Jackbox again.
Ooh.
Fun.
Just because I have a friend who's never played it, and I really want to show it to him, but he kinda doesn't have internet for a while, so...
Pity. So, are you gonna end your stream, Neon?
I mean, probably.
Well,
I mean, I might...
Yeah.
Oh, it's 3 a.m., I don't... Then again, I'm kind of awake. I could play something else.
yeah. Well, Scully just wants to talk this thing.
I mean, I don't care. I can talk on stream. I just don't want to play anything.
I mean, like, do you guys have any suggestions on what I could play?
Warframe.
Do I have Warframe?
Or
I have War
Thunder.
Thunder and Warframe, but I've played
War
neither of
Thunder is
those.
Fun.
I've played neither
War
of those
Thunder's-
before. I kind of don't want to play a game I've never played before.
Play
War
Sonic.
Thunder's not.
Huh?
So just play Sonic.
Yeah, but like, that's kind of something I think I should. Cause I'm thinking Wednesday. Now that I'm thinking about it, what I kind of want to
my
do
God.
is for next week, kind of try to finish up the Sonic 1 and 2 with Vector thing, and get all the Chaos Emeralds. It's kind of what I want to do.
What are Chaos and Emeralds?
They're basically the everything.
What's everything?
And everything
I'm
isn't
gonna actually
everything.
Go.
Aw.
I'm gonna go now. Yeah.
You have a-
I'm
you-
gonna.
Oh,
You have a
rings
nice
cost
night.
without the rings. Got it.
Yep. See you guys.
Let's see
I
ya.
like Dragon Ball's but shitty.
I'm assuming you're gonna add more stuff to the poll.
I will send you stuff, maybe. I don't know. I'm really tired tonight.
Let's see. For some reason it thinks Movie Maker's a game, despite the fact I keep telling it it's not. You know what? I could play QP Shooting. That one's interesting. I can't hear anyone anymore. This is a problem. And it's not picking up any audio output. That's not good at all. This is problematic. Hey Scully, can you try talking again? Hello? And then there was silence. I don't know if I really want to play QP Shooting or not. Let's go with... Oh no. Screw it. Sonic Mania. It's not like I got anything better to do. Yep. Perhaps we should activate some mods or something. Wait, what mods do I even have enabled? Oh, I have invisible Sonic. Oh shit. Oh, this will be good. Let's go. Invisible Sonic, let's do it. Oh, Jesus. The fun thing is, I can't see Sonic right now. And I don't have cheats, like, you know, enabled. So this is going to be great. Oh, ooh. You see, for stuff like this, that's annoying. Uh-oh, uh-oh, ooh. I can't... Yeah, I physically cannot actually see where Sonic is no matter what I do. Ah, screw you. Unless I spin dash. Oh, or he does that. Oh, pff, and I got an oh no enabled. Of course I do. I can see it for half a second, that's it. Is Pinball gonna be invisible? No, it's okay. Damn, I missed. Well. So this might be a little bit difficult fighting the boss. Yeah, I don't... Oof. This is gonna be great. Even now. Oh. Hang on. I... Oh, music's gone. Cool. We didn't need that. Okay. Oop, 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 oop.
Oh no.
Ow! Oh, there's the music. Oop. Ooh, ah.
Oh no.
Ah. No, stop it. I don't like it. Yarr! Where am I? That's the point of this. We don't know where I am. Fark. Screw it. Nope. Do I want speedy shoes? This could be a mistake. Ow. I thought I was higher up than that. Oop, no, too late.
Oh no.
Hey! Was I not curled up into a ball? Jeez. Okay. Hey, you. Uh-oh. Where am I? I don't know where I am. Uh-oh. This is bad. Oh! Thanks!
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I did it. How did I do that? I don't understand. I did it. I saved the world. Oh, I should have seen that. Hang on. I want to try something. I want to try something real quick, okay? Okay? It's not too much cheating, okay? It's not too much cheating. I just want to see. Check, this is not checkbox prag. Did it not change? Christ. Okay, well this part, I guess, I didn't change. But the sinking title of the thing is supposed to be, ugh. I gotta change it everywhere. Twitch. Because for some reason, it doesn't like switching to live. And Mixer can suck a big one because it doesn't want to work for me. Despite me doing everything it told me to fix it, it will not work. Yes. It'd be great if things worked for me, you know? It'd be so amazing. So what is it? Why is it opening this? Don't open that. It's bad. Why don't you set someone to add the category each time you change games? Well, the thing is, I usually do it myself. And it works fine, usually. But for crying out loud, sometimes it just isn't. Pain in the ass. Like, I don't have any dedicated moderators, so... See, it was even supposed to change the name of it. It was even supposed to change the name of it, and it didn't change the name. It's still You Don't Know Smash. Oh god, I hear my voice. We don't need that. Title. Invisible. Sanic. There you go. Invisible Sanic, it's now called. Title's updating failed for one channel. Of course it did. Of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Well, that's the font, and I think you draw the text using paint. Yeah, yeah, that pretty much is what I did. That I basically drew the font using, like, a mouse, I believe. Either it's a mouse or I actually, like, drew it on a piece of paper. Boop. Save that. And we will save that sanic mania. Boop. Cool. So now you should have it. Yeah. Overwrite yes, I guess. It's not going no Mario Kart styles like intro with Cardmania. It seems someone enjoys Sonic Mania a lot, huh? Yeah, I kind of like Sonic Mania. Okay, let's see here. Enable. There we go. Insta shield and drop dash. I guess just peel out is. I guess just peel out is. Okay. Sure. Save and play. And now my chat. Oh. What is this? That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. There we go. I have all the Sonic moves. Except peel out. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. If I do this. There. So now I should have. Oh, great. I don't have. What? I don't understand why it doesn't give me the options that I want. It doesn't make sense. Where did it go? Because I don't want that. I don't understand where peel out went. Where's peel out? Man, I love it when things don't work. What Sonic games do you have? Oh, hey, the chat's back, but I can only see one message. Okay. I have Sonic Mania. Technically, I have Sonic 1, 2, and 3. And I have Sonic Generations. But only for, Xbox. Freeze time. No, I want... Is it seriously? You can't have peel out enabled anymore? That's dumb. I like the peel out, but only as a secondary thing. Screw that. Well. guess save and play. That's fine. Okay, actually I want to play some Puyo Puyo. Yeah, wireless controller. If I give you a game, would you finish it for me? Possibly. I mean, I did sort of want to catch up on Chaos Emeralds for my last stream, but if I was given, like, a set task, I'd do it. Oh yeah, right. Oh, I probably should have... it doesn't matter. Well, they're in trouble. This was a mistake. Oh well. Okay, back to the action, back to the action.
Oh no. Oh no.
Every now and then I catch a glimpse of Sonic. Whoop. Try Minion Masters. I have not tried Minion Masters yet. That would be an interesting thing. How much does it cost? It's free. Oh. Well, I can't argue with that price now, can I? I'll check it out there. I'll probably suck at it a lot, but it's worth a shot. Wow! Right, fire shield. Oh god. You can get more popular streaming that if you're very bad at it. I mean, like, fair enough. Who wants to see somebody actually good at the game, right? That's not why people watch me, that's for sure. They want to see me screw up and yell at it. Eep! Oh. Ah, gee. Oh, this is a bad idea. How did I make it across those? That shouldn't have made sense. Ah, shite. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know where I'm at. I made it somehow. You could try a choice chamber if you like survival with the invisible hero. Oh boy. What the? I don't think that should have worked. I can see Sonic! It's a miracle! I don't think this looks right, though. Mm. Yeet! Nope, stop. Not cool. There we go. Let me know if you want to try Mini Master, since I have special key for it. Ooh. I think I will try that out on Wednesday. I say next week, but it's Wednesday, I mean. I'm kind of streaming today just because I could. I don't know. Slow down! Yeah! Yeah, slow down! I mean, bubble shield would be... Damn it! I want a bubble shield. That would be handy. Wait, where did... Okay, that was weird. Should I put the key in chat? You can just DM it to me. You always have to appreciate the lightning shield. No, don't you... Damn it, that's why I wanted Bubble Shield. Was this specific section, I knew it was gonna give me a hard time. Damn it. Yeep! Dang. Whoa. Yeah. Mach 3. That was easy. There we go. I've gotten the DM. I'll take care of that once I'm done streaming. Feels so weird that I can't see Sonic. Ow. Sonic. Crap, I need a peach one. Bam. I had a plan all along, see? Yeah, he's toast. He's toast. Okay, I want to do something real quick. Whee! No! Come on. Also, I didn't finish the game yet. I cannot see myself worth crap. Oh god. I mean, that's the point, but still. Oh, you mean about Sonic Mania? Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty good experience. Oh, but that's a bumper. I highly recommend finishing. Especially getting all the Chaos Emeralds. It's a pain in the ass, but it's fun-ish. Especially when you get the Knuckles and Knuckles ending. That's always a great ending. That's all I need. Lightning shield's all I need. Yeep! Oh, crap. Am I okay? I don't think I'm okay. How the hell am I supposed to jump up there? Uh-oh. I don't know where I'm at. I mean, yes, that's the whole point, but... Hi! Ow! Ah! Ah! No! It'd be so handy if I could go super. Alas, this is not the file with a bunch of Chaos Emeralds on it. I doubt Combine Ring's gonna... Whatever. You know what, if I just stay to the back, then I know I'm at the back. Okay, well, and it survived. Okay. This concerns me. Oh no! It shows the path without rings! Please be the first one. What do you mean, reconnection? Reconnection? How long was I disconnected? Also, how was I just randomly spamming jump and it worked? That doesn't make sense. Oh, dear. Damn it. Well, I mean, I didn't... Okay. It's literally the first one. Oh, no, 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 no. We're not having that. Does it make sense to anyone else? What's going on? I hope so, because I don't know what's going on. Christ! I'm going off just pure gamer instincts. Because I'm a pro gamer, of course.
Oh no.
Oh wow, blue spheres. Well, it's kind of not as unhelpful when you're... Okay. I mean, like, I don't need to see Sonic for this one, but okay.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Don't congratulate me yet, game. Now you can congratulate me. Good little warm-up on the old gaming muscles. I thought there was a spring in there. I'll be honest, I had no idea I was in a ball, so I thought I was gonna die. A lot of what I'm doing is just by accident. And I'm willing to admit that. Yeah, applause for my luck, which is rare. Alright, Sonic, you need some gambling. Hang on. Where am I? I don't know. Ein. Ow. Well, shit. Damn. I'm about done with this anyway. I'm about done. So, if you guys like the surprise stream, that was a surprise to even me, and honestly I should be going to bed and all that stuff, but you know what, that's fine. But if you enjoyed it, do what you do with the streams. I haven't recorded a video in forever, but I still have the urge to always say what I say in videos, which is hit the like button, subscribe if you like it, good, all that stuff. But, you know, whatever. But, yeah. See you guys next time. I need to go to sleep. Goodbye.